Do not fall for it. It's bait. The liberals, the progressives, the Democrats, they are terrified going into this next election cycle, and they are pulling out all the stops, and they have just thrown out this huge, juicy piece of bait, hoping that channels like mine and others will fall for it. Getting stuck in our emotions and wanting to do something we haven't been able to do for a long time. Now, what am I talking about? YouTube reverses ban on questioning 2020 U.S. election. The video platform admitted its policy could curtail political speech without preventing real-world harm. Video platform YouTube has reversed its controversial ban on questioning the validity of the 2020 and other U.S. election results, acknowledging in a Friday blog post, that the policy could silence legitimate political speech. Now, really? They just now realize this? Guys, you have to understand what they're really doing. You see, they're not going to take down the content anymore. What they want to do is they want to assess everybody on YouTube who believes this, and just to be very clear on this, I'm not exactly sure what went on, but I know it wasn't righteous. There's all sorts of speculation about this, but to come out and start making tons and tons of videos questioning 2020 is just going to get you put on a list. And instead of taking your content down, all they will do is demonetize it, which has basically the exact same effect. Yes, it will technically still be up, but because of the way the algorithms work, nobody will see it. Because they will cry capitalism and say, well, the videos that we promote are the ones with the ads. That's what they have to tell their advertisers. So real simple, a whole lot of people are going to get caught up in their emotions. They're going to start yammering on about what happened in 2020 again, and they're going to out themselves, and then YouTube's just they're not going to take the videos down. They're just going to demonetize the channels, which has the exact same effect. And then they will be able to say, well, we're just doing the capitalist thing. We're doing the thing that promotes the most money being made by the platform, and that's what we really have to worry about. And so they're going to push the channels that still have ads. Now, what if I told you that has exactly to do with this? A lot of people have come after me and taken issue with this topic that I've brought up about the huge meteoric rise of people, primarily women, on OnlyFans. What if I told you 99% of those people, it wasn't their first choice of employment. It wasn't their second choice of employment. For many, it wasn't even their third. It was their last resort because of this exact tactic. You see, they do this exact same thing, not just on YouTube, but they do it in the real work world. They throw out bait like this into their groups of employees to see which ones align with the way they want to do things. And then they create an environment for those that don't, that they can't handle anymore, and so they quit. This is the new big thing, quiet quitting from the laptop generation. That's why it's so particular with the billionaire Musk, because they know they can't technically just outright fire them because they'd still have to pay them. And they can't get rid of them because they're doing the minimum requirements. There's a new thing out there called bed rotting. How many of you have heard it? It's a Gen Z thing, but there's a lot more people doing it. You see, even if people have realized, you know what? And this is the real point here. All work in the modern world is a form of prostitution. That's the reality. When you go out into the work world, you are forced to participate in other people's delusions. How many people in 2020 to keep their jobs had to have something injected into them they didn't want to? Oh, yeah, that's right. And when you go out now, you have to use preferred pronouns, and you can't say this word, and you can't say that word, and you can't dress this way, and you can't have that opinion. If you can even make a percentage of what you made out in the real world in a quote-unquote real job, at home, if you have that option, people will take it. They'll figure out any way to do it. And if it's a moral issue, they've realized there's a lot more definition of morality out there than just image and what you're wearing and what people might say about what you're wearing. Now, this is a lot of the reason this channel and many others had to set up parallel channels over at Patreon. It's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing, and I'm thankful for it every single day. Every one of you that have realized this and have stepped up at the $1 and the $5 level. It's the only two levels I have now. There's the vast majority of the content over there is for $1 a month, not per video, not per week, per month, $1. If you sign up for an entire year, it's even less. It's like 3 pennies per day. There's the folks at the $5 level, they got 3 or 4 videos, and those are going to be a little bit more intense because even the folks at the $1 level have said, a lot of your stuff, McKee, it's kind of on the edge, but I'd rather be accused of being on the edge than being too censored. You see, back in February, Wasicki, the CEO of YouTube, stepped down, and she was replaced by this guy. Now, they're both Gen Xers. She's actually older than him. She's actually a couple years older than me. But this guy's going to be sneaky. He's going to do whatever he can to get the platform making money again, because it hasn't in a long time. Google has made money, but not YouTube, because of the censorship. So he's going to figure out a way to do this. And believe me, a lot of people woke up who had shifted their lives over years and years in the past, to working from home, and all of a sudden the income was just gone. One of the biggest, at least in my sphere of things that I watch on YouTube, talked about this a lot. She survived over 12 years, the Patriot Nurse, multiple waves of this, having videos that were perfectly fine when she put them up, and then 6-7 years later down the road, because of new standards, all of a sudden they would go back and re-review ancient videos and demonetize them and penalize. It was horrible. How she survived as long as she did. I've only been on the platform. This October, it will be 7 years. And she was on over 12. I'm not sure if we'll hear from her that very much anymore because of that. Because there are authorized and unauthorized opinions about everything. A lot of you have said and asked me, Florida Monkey, why don't you talk about Antarctica anymore? Real simple. There are 3 authorized opinions, and if you don't subscribe to one of these 3 authorized opinions about Antarctica, you will get no traffic. What are those 3 opinions? Well, 1, you can talk about Antarctica in the context of global warming. Whatever your opinion is. Either way. Number 2, you can talk about Antarctica not even existing, and it being just a giant ice wall, all the flat earthers. And you can be that crowd. Or the 3rd is, what a great place to go on a cruise. Let's go do the polar plunge. This place is so great and wonderful, and man, I'm glad it's so protected from... And that's it. And then you can show nothing but B-roll footage of drones flying over icebergs with music in the background, dramatic music in the background. Those are your 3 choices. Anybody else, not authorized opinion. Here's another great example. This is from last night, and I put this up just to prove a point. Many years ago, I recorded a song. It was originally made popular by Tony Braxton. It was called Unbreak My Heart. It was redone in Spanish by a group called El Divo, and it was titled Regresa a mí, and it was all sung in Spanish. So this took me a long time to get done, but I figured out the music, playing guitar, and then learned to sing it, and recorded myself singing and playing in Spanish, and playing guitar at the same time, Regresa a mí. Now try to find that on YouTube. There's virtually nobody even trying to do it. You can either sing it, or perhaps you can play it on guitar, but I've not found anyone that's done this. I found one cover where it's 5 people, one guy playing guitar, doesn't sing, and all 4 people sing all 4 different parts in the song. I do it all by myself. And after 14 hours, it has the amazing total of 468 views. So that's why I don't do music. And that's why I don't do Antarctica or the Pentagon Network anymore. Because authorized opinions. Authorized opinions. They want you to go and start yammering on about Donald Trump and because they know that's going to be a winner for them. They will find out who has this opinion. They will demonetize them. They won't take the videos down. And that'll be the end of it now. This idea of OnlyFans, that people think it's so wildly immoral. What if I told you this exact tactic has just been going on in the background since a long time before I was born? And you were born. Don't think so? This is a chiropractor in Orlando. She does a fantastic job. She has a huge channel here on YouTube, and she puts up content at least 3 to 5 times a week and really knows her stuff. I've gotten my back cracked by her years and years and years ago, but she knows what it takes to get views on YouTube. She's a chiropractor. Mondragon Chiropractic. This is a political commentator. Political commentator. This was a songwriter from the 1960s. This picture was taken many years before I was born. But this girl's doing it wrong. This is the immoral stretch right here. This is the immorality of the world that we need to stop. This was a comedian. Funny girl. No traction until she put out a calendar that actually outsold Sports Illustrated. And then she's, of course, largely known for dear certain people that can't control how much they eat, and told her story on a plane. This is a grandmother here in Florida. Hugely popular, hugely successful on OnlyFans. Best picture I can show here. Politician. Elected politician. You don't think this had anything to do with it? Another elected politician. You don't think this had anything to do with it? Almost elected. I bet you dollars to donuts Donald Trump's going to pick her as his VP. Bobby Gentry. And once again, I was a little kid, maybe 1 or 2 years old when this picture was taken. Back in the early 70s. So it's not new. This was the 90s. You see, it was always, always, always in the background. Money being earned with this technique, with this tactic. Now it's just condensed into one place. And that's why people are so upset about it. But it has to do with things like quiet quitting and bed rotting. Because people have learned, hey, going out into the work world right now forces me to prostitute myself, whore myself out to other people's delusions about how the world should be. I'll bet there's a lot of people out there that if they had to have an injection they don't want, or lose their job and have to do something from home that's a little bit immoral, I'll bet they would choose to do the thing at home before they would have the you-know-what injected, if it was a requirement. See, this is all tied together. Every bit of this bait, it's all bait. All this, let's get people out into the work world. Let's see what they really believe and who these people are, and let's identify and mark them. And let's make sure that, we do everything we can. If somebody has an unauthorized opinion or doesn't believe the way that we think they should believe, we're going to make them poor and destitute and unable to support themselves in society until they come around to our way of thinking. And we can't have them hiding. We can't have them camouflaging themselves. So we're going to lay this bait out. And we're going to say, oh, sure, you can talk about whatever you want to. Talk about the 2020 so they can re-identify. They can re-identify, they can label, and then they can demonetize. Because that's what the real goal is. It's global demonetization is what's happening. They want money to go X direction and not Z direction. And that's the reality of this. And they do, by the way. They've denied this for years, but it's the truth. They have a keywords blacklist because I've put up videos before, and they've gotten the little yellow symbol, and I changed one word in the title. One word in the title. I just went to a thesaurus and found the same word, the same meaning of the same word, just different word. Automatically turns to a green icon as soon as I change the word. That's how ridiculous it is. So believe what you want, have whatever opinion you want about this, but it's the reality right now. And I would defy anyone to tell me that going out into the real world in many, many, many ways right now and getting a job, and an authorized job, a real job, doesn't require you to prostitute yourself in a way that's as immoral or more than what I've talked about. So I will leave it there. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. Thank you so much for stepping up, supporting me, helping me stay on the platform. I very much appreciate it. I'm humbled by it. If you can afford it, thank you so, so much. I know $1 a month doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but when it's a lot of people, to give an example, I have 132,000 subscribers, 400 views. 400 views. Now, if 132,000 subscribers on my channel, if even 1% have notifications set up, that's 1,300 people that wouldn't even click if they saw the notification. That's what, 3 times this number? You see, that's the point. That you would think somebody, 131,000 subscribers, that somebody with 131,000 subscribers, just based on notifications alone, would get more than 400 views in 14 hours. But that's what they do, and that's the game. So, anyway, I will leave it there. Don't take the bait. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.